Hello everybody, welcome back and thank you for your continued support. Yes, I think 99% of us are going through something and not necessarily personal. The world around us is indeed changing at a rapid pace, and I think with all the revelations and things coming out, we are also losing every last bit of naivety we had left. What we thought were just cracks in the armor of our idols or, the people we admired, now appear to be gaping craters. Okay, I want to stay calm today and take it step by step. Firstly, it appears Andrew is now finally out of Royal Lodge, and that he was driven away under the cover of darkness and taken to a temporary home on the Sandringham estate, allegedly. There are those who are saying that he was taken somewhere else. Now, this move comes after that new batch of photographs and an email referring to a threesome. At least that is the official narrative. I, however, think that it is only part of it because I had been watching the newspaper reports. You see, there is something I cannot really understand about people lately, and it is truly as if every bit of common sense has disappeared. Andrew will not be the first and only person accused of sexual misconduct or worse. Not the first or the only well-known person either. There was Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, James Franco, Woody Allen, Mike Tyson, Russell Brand, Armie Hammer, Kevin Spacey, Dustin Hoffman, and the list goes on and on and on. Except for the few still stewing in jail, the others are one way or another getting on with their lives and are still caught by cameras, walking here, driving there, doing this or that. It is inevitable. The invisibility cloak has not really been engineered yet, only in cartoons. Yet each and every time Andrew hits a golf ball, each and every time he rides his horse or he drives his car, there is absolute outrage, and the newspapers scream how William is raging because he does not want Andrew out in the public. Really? What bullshit! What clickbait! Riding his horse on the Windsor estate is not going out in public. It means that someone with a decent camera zoomed in and took a photograph of him. As long as he has a valid driver's license, he can drive his car. For all we know, Charles called him over to Windsor Castle for a meeting. Andrew is in the privacy of his own vehicle, and it is the camera intruding. So yes, in a way, I can also understand the King and William wanting him out of the way because he is an inconvenience and because his presence distracts from the work they do and the royal family in general. I understand that, and I am, for a change, not criticizing Charles or William. I am criticizing the media. Because if, say, William is reacting as the media is saying he is, then he is indeed not the well-balanced, intelligent man I think he is. I just do not think he was freaking out about Andrew riding his horse or driving his car. I think it goes far deeper and way beyond that. I also think that the media and the public have something else wrong. This shouting that Andrew should leave the country, get out, go away, is absolutely ridiculous. Of course, if he wants to leave and someone wants to take him, then fine. But it is not the 1700s or 1800s anymore. You cannot just exile someone anymore, especially not if he has possible criminal charges pending, or if he had charges in the past. No country wants to willingly take someone who has a criminal past. Now think about it logically. Are your neighbors allowed to dump their trash on your lawn? No, they are not. Well, neither can one country drop their trash on another country. Yes, say Andrew wants to go to Bahrain or wherever, and they are offering him this castle and he goes, then surely England can maybe refuse him re-entry. But no one, not even the king, even if Andrew was a mass murderer, can force him to leave the country. He is a British citizen, and the British have to take care of their own trash. I personally think Andrew would be clever to go live in that palace in the Middle East, because if he does, he will be free to do what he wants to. He can spend his time riding his horses, playing golf, and more than that, he can write the most explosive book ever written. The crown will have no control over him, no power, and no jurisdiction. So to those wanting him to go to the Middle East, well, I personally think it would be a huge mistake. I think it would be better to keep him in the United Kingdom where he can be controlled. And in the future, remember me saying this, because the same goes for Fergie. Remember, keep your enemies close, they say. Okay, moving on. Many people are talking about a royal crisis and Charles calling royal crisis meetings. Well, the royal family is in a crisis, likely in a bigger crisis, well, likely the biggest crisis since 1649. Now, what happened in 1649? Well, coincidentally, Charles I was executed at the end of the Civil War, and as a result, the monarchy was without a king between 1649 and 1660. Listening to the people, I almost feel like history is about to repeat itself, except that Charles obviously will not be executed, just excommunicated, okay, and William, if all goes well, will step in and step up. As much as I personally love the fairy tale, the glitz and glamour of a monarchy, I am the people first kind of person, and as sorry as I am for anyone battling cancer, karma and justice has to come for Charles. No person, including you and me, can go through life not caring and hurting others, lying, stealing, being disloyal to country and family, often in the most disturbing and disgusting ways, and expecting to escape justice forever. A very brief example. Remember, Charles was the Duke of Cornwall for 70 years, 52 of which he actively managed the duchy. So what did he do for the duchy in 52 years? Here is the condensed version of the report. Asset growth and modernization. He grew the portfolio value to over $1 billion, developing diverse holdings, including the Oval Cricket Ground, farmland and rural holdings. Philanthropic support. Income from the duchy supported his charity work like the Prince's Trust. Revenue generation. He managed to provide himself a significant income plus minus 21 million in his final year. He established the Duke of Cornwall Benevolent Fund to support communities in the southwest. Blah, blah, blah. There isn't much more. That is what he basically did in over 50 years. Now, if you want to, you can scroll back and listen again. Did you hear anything about the people, the private citizens, the humans living in the stunningly beautiful Cornwall? Anything? No, you didn't, except for the Duke of Cornwall Benevolent Fund. Well, surprisingly few people even know about the fund. But of course, he grew the portfolio value because the more money the duchy made, the more he could put in his pocket. As for the Duchy of Cornwall money supporting the Prince's Trust, well, it shouldn't. It is two different entities. Why should duchy money go to global youth unemployment in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, the Middle East? I mean, please, pray tell. Or go for vaccinations in India. That, while unemployment in the duchy grew and grew and grew. But what did he do? And to date, everyone was too scared to talk about it. It was in, I think, 2011 and 2013, under Charles's stewardship, that thousands of letters were sent to thousands of residents in Cornwall, informing them of the duchy's ownership of mineral rights beneath their homes. So how did Charles do this? Well, he pulled out laws dating back to 1337. I kid you not. And also on the Duchy of Cornwall No. 2 Act 1844, which allows the Duke of Cornwall to enter land to work mines, only having to provide compensation for surface damage. You see, the Land Registration Act of 2002 mandated that mineral rights had to be registered to preserve them for the future. When Charles and the duchy got backlash on their letters, they issued a statement saying that they were simply registering existing centuries-old rights, not new ones. Folks, my dear friends and frenemies, that is what I call, and maybe you should call, daylight robbery, openly stealing from the people of Cornwall and getting away with it. It is embarrassingly shocking. So yes, because of social media, these things got more attention over, say, the last 5 to 10 years than it did as a single newspaper article in an obscure local paper. So many lies and so many misdeeds have been covered up that it should make the British people sick to the stomach. I'm sure that there are many people like me who would love to see the monarchy continue, but not like this. Charles acts like an absolute monarch, and he has always acted that way. It was his way or the highway. We are often astounded by Harry and Meghan's lies. Well, I think that if we should start counting Charles's lies or the lies told to cover his rubbish, then we'll all be absolutely astounded and utterly shocked. The only reason why it was not as obvious as Meghan and Harry's lies is because his was spread over 70 years, where they tried to fit all their shit into, say, 5 years. And that is why everyone advised them, take it slow, step back and then come to the fore again, take it slow. But no, they wanted everything done, and they wanted everything done now, and that is why their lies popped out, bam, 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 one after the other. Had they taken it slow like Charles did, they might have even gotten away with a lot of it. Okay, so having said that, let's talk about Harry for a bit. Harry's case against A&L is taking all kinds of twists and turns, and none too pretty either. Now, remember Gavin Burrows? We spoke about him before, the private investigator who alleges that his statement was faked and that his signature was forged. Well, he is now in hiding somewhere outside of the United Kingdom after he received a threatening voice message from Graham Johnson, Harry's legal researcher and former journalist and convicted phone hacker. Burrows submitted a recording of the message. Now, guess what Sherborne's excuse is? Oh, it is not Johnson on the recording, it is Burrows himself. Ridiculous. Making up fantasies. Well, here is a list, a short one, and yes, I mean, if you want me to, which I really don't want to do, there is obviously a much longer one that I could compile, but I don't think I need to really do more. All I want to do is I just want to prove a point. Remember the two men I spoke about yesterday, the one who allegedly went to jail on behalf of Earl Anthony Wayne and the whistleblower, Marcinko and Ken Turner? Well, guess what I discovered yesterday evening? Both of them are dead, deceased. Now, I believe Ken Turner was sick. Okay, he was already 70-ish. Okay, I saw the photograph of this smartly dressed black man on Epstein's plane with two of Epstein's girls. Okay, now somebody says that, there's no proof that it was even Epstein's plane, but the photograph was found among Epstein's stuff. Okay, so coincidence much. But anyway, now some guy on Instagram wanted to know who the black man was. Well, it was, or it looks like it was Nathi Mthethwa, a South African politician. Well, it was said previously that Mthethwa was introduced to American politics through Epstein. So why wouldn't it be on Epstein's plane if it was two blonde girls in the photograph, and the photograph was found among Epstein's stuff? Okay, But, other people can make up their own stories. We will believe what we believe. Okay. Nati Mtetwa's last posting was as ambassador to France. So that guy who said, oh, since when did Nati Mtetwa have a French accent? Well, he lived in France for a while, and we can all adopt an accent if we're in a country 6 months or longer. But never mind. It was in France where he allegedly committed harikiri, when he allegedly jumped from the 22nd floor of the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Now I must add, a note to his wife was found in his room. Whether it was really in his handwriting or whether he was forced to write it, we will likely never know. Then there's Jean-Luc Brunel, modeling agent and scout for Epstein, dead. Let's take a quick look at other strange deaths and incidents linked to Charles or around Charles. Major Lindsay, dead from an avalanche. Thomas Kingston, dead, alleged suicide. Diana, dead, alleged motorcar accident. Remember Dale Harper or Kanga? Well, she plunged 8 meters from a window, a woman who had a fear of heights. Well, yes, maybe these were all accidents. But once the list or lists reach 100+ names, then one would have reason to worry. So personally, I do not blame Gavin Burrows. And if I was him, I would not drive anywhere, I would not stand near windows or eat at the same place twice or go through tunnels or near ponds. I mean, rather be safe than sorry. As for Harry Sherborne and Graham Johnson, I think they should each be subjected to a couple of hours of interrogation in a cold police station, just to show them that they are not above the law. And while we are on the Epstein bandwagon, there are numerous different stories from numerous different sources about our dear fake prince in Montecito having treated a variety of women in a less than stellar way, or shall we say, he treated them like punching bags. When is that going to be investigated? I mean, if it's not true, then great. But if true, then the man, like any other, should be removed from society. It is time, so that the new king has to start on a clean slate. We cannot continue like this. Okay, guys, I shall hopefully see you again tomorrow. So until then, please take good care of yourselves and stay safe. Bye.